Welcome, everybody. We are here. As we start, if you guys could, real quick, all the YouTube stuff should be able to help us out. Hit a thumbs up. That's free. Takes a split second. A little bit extra. If you guys don't mind, consider sharing this out. We posted on YouTube today, which we don't normally do. So hopefully we'll get a few more people in from our community tab. We did some Instagram stuff. If you guys could as well, I think this stream is going to kind of epitomize what we believe in with this show and what we want people to get a peek of behind the scenes with Dr. Nix. And my name is Dan C. Bearded. I am the co-host of this show. We are 96 episodes running. 96 episodes running here. Just getting started, continuing to grow and just evolve. We are listening to you guys and what you guys want. We're listening to ourselves with essentially what we're having fun with. And we absolutely look forward to this stream every single week. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being early. The man next to me came in unannounced with this braid all in my face. The man next to me came in with some excited energy about some stuff that's going on in the present and near future with this company that I'm going to keep a lid on and not have to share all my guts on this one. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you caught Florida Man Monday last night. There's a guy in Florida recently had abdominal surgery. He was at breakfast because they discharged him from the hospital, said he was good to go. He coughed and sneezed at the same time. I do not think a fart was involved, but it was a cough and a sneeze, and he burst his insides out of his wound, and it was his colon ruptured from the cough sneeze.
Oh,
at a restaurant.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's me, but with excitement with what's to come and what Nick is currently working on. He dropped the braid and that information on me today, you guys. So I'm a little bit wired right now, feeling really good. I did a little bit of art before the stream, and yeah, we're gonna have an amazing time.
Thank God art is subjective.
Yes, art is subjective, everyone. The man that I'm talking about is the person that has the ability to bend time and space himself, the ability to take skills and traits from his past, meld it together with the future and the present. I don't know if meld is a word, but if it isn't, we're making it one. This is the doctor of time and space, the doctor of Dr. Nix, the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Phelps, a.k.a. national champion. Nick, how you doing?
I mean, doing pretty damn good, man. I mean, it's like I'm shocked I'm even able to get words out or kind of like form full sentences at the moment because my head's just so full of so many different things I'm working on, both Dr. Nix related, mostly Dr. Nix related and otherwise, but no, man, doing good. Had a good weekend. You know, we got it's summer's in full effect, so we're creative with summertime activities for my son while we're here at the office and working and trying to keep him entertained between camps and all that. Like he's downstairs right now doing guitar lessons on his phone with Musician and my little Tonex box. So he's having fun, but which is one of the topics on today. Hopefully it picks it. But
yes.
No, man, doing good. Loving life.
And I'm pumped, guys. I'll tell you what's going on today. Essentially, we're going to do random tangent roulette. Now, I got a couple of your comments I want to get to, but random tangent roulette, meaning Nick got a group of random tangents. I got a group of random tangents. We threw them together, and it's going to be randomly selected in a really fun way, which is really cool. And the real CEO said, just dropped in stream late. Has Dan been on the edible? No, this is just life. This is just life.
This is it. Like no artificial influences. You know, it's just
nope.
We just wake up like this, believe it or not. Which our significant others, you know, could probably take or leave. You know, we're probably both a lot when we first wake up. I know I am.
Sam was just telling somebody when they were like, they essentially said to her, they were like, Dan seems like he is relentlessly positive. And she goes, it's so annoying. That was her response. She was like, he has to make the best out of every situation. He doesn't let me dwell on it. I just want to dwell. And it was sarcasm, of course, but I think Jill can probably relate, Nick.
Oh, she totally can, because what's funny is, like, you know, we'll be talking to friends about like, oh, what do you do to like set your alarms. Like, what do you use? This kind of stuff. And like, she'll always look at me and be like, don't chime in. No one wants to hear about how you wake up with no alarm or 5 minutes before it sets off
Yep.
or, or anything. She's like, no one likes that. So don't talk about it. She's like, no one's ever been like, oh, good for you. That sounds awesome. Like, wow.
Yep. Nope. Same. Yes. Jill says you wake up like the sun shining yeah, it's the same way. I wake up, I'm ready. And then you guys, you add a dose of even just 15, 20 minutes of me and Nick talking about whatever the heck's on our mind together.
Oh,
watch out. Watch out. Cause
yeah, dude.
It gets going. And to begin here, correct me if I'm wrong, Joshua, and then his beautiful partner, Alma. I believe today they find out the boy or girl for their child, their first child.
Oh, wow.
So I think he's got some big news coming.
Well, congratulations, man. That's always a fun moment. Was it one of the time? So, okay. So obviously they're finding out before
Yep.
Okay.
And they should find out today. Joshua is hoping for a boy. Alma said everyone knows it's a girl. So they got a little battle going on right now.
Oh boy.
And Leo says the beard accentuates your mustache and soul patch unless it's the lighting. Leo, like I said, he didn't even warn me. He didn't even send me it. Sometimes he'll be like, hey man, we got a match, and we'll send like shirts and shorts and hat options, and we'll get together and coordinate. He did not even give me a heads up that he was going to be throwing all this on camera right now. All this on camera. And I just straight up to him, I was like, dang, dude, I'm used to being the beard guy. I'm used to being the dude that turns heads. I'm like, that's a really good look. Like it's actually a really good look.
Thanks, man. It's funny. It took me a while until I figured out how to braid it in a way that it came out and I liked it, and we were just talking about this last week about being a habitual over tightener. I am a habitual over tightener of screws, bolts. If it's in plastic and the bolt metal, like say goodbye. I'm definitely doing that job twice.
Yeah.
And so it carried into braids. I was like, knotting the braid going down. I'm like, this doesn't look good. This looks like Steven Seagal's like rat tail from like Fire in the, it was like Smoke Down Under or something. Like, was it Fire Down Under or whatever that was?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like the coal mine and like there's like anyway, so it's like what I found out is like the looser I do it, the better. It's like you got to start really, really gentle, and then to get to the bottom to not get like that long rat tail look, you got to keep it loose. So it's like some jobs are, you just have to have a gentle touch.
So true.
But thank you.
Yeah. And then G Squared, what's up, dude? He said he's got rosemary oil in today. Question for the chat. Name in the chat, whether it's now, whether it was yesterday, last weekend. What is the most recent Dr. Nick's beard product you have used? Or any product, if it's head, hair, shampoo, and conditioner, if it's body wash, face wash, if this morning you used several of them, let us know. Put it in the chat, put the scent out there. I used peppermint rosemary head hair shampoo this morning, literally. And then I have in one of the mystery oils. I think it's B. I forget which one I have, but I think it's B in there. And then Jill, I'm pretty sure it's B, the full-size one that I have. Let me know in the chat, Jill, if it's got a touch of clove. I feel like there might be like a little whisper of clove in there, or something's giving me those vibes, and I actually like it. And so I have that in beard, and I use the face wash. I did not use the beard wash today, but that's usually in every other day in my rotation. Nick, what about you? What do you got today?
IPA. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's one I took a little break from because I was just trying so many others, the peppermint rosemary and all the ones, and I came back to it, and it was one of those times where you're like, why did I take a break? Why did I step away from you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a warm hug when you come back.
Yep.
It's like reunited and it feels so good.
And it does feel so good.
Man, I won't sing anymore, I promise.
and G Squared, you mentioned your weekend, Nick. Mine was very productive. We did a ton of housework all around, and we did a lot of the housework yard work that you don't necessarily see unless it's us. For example, we have pavers lining all of our mulch around the house. Sam and I took every single paver up in these little like brick things, every single paver, because they got pushed down into the ground. They were a little bit sideways, some weeds growing in the middle. Took every single one up, dug out it all, leveled it, put leveling sand down, put them all back in tediously. Oh, and also put the black paper down first, put the leveling sand, had to cut that all out perfectly, put them down, malleted them in perfectly, put in the third level, which is like the concrete little mix for pavers.
Yep.
Wet it down 15 minutes, brushed it all off, did that whole thing around the whole house. I am obnoxiously sore. I have muscles on the inside of my leg that are sore.
Didn't even know you had them.
Did not know I had, genuinely,
Nope.
not just a phrase. And so I'm beat. My body is absolutely toast from that. I don't know if anybody would ever notice in a million years, but I feel good about it. I see it and I notice.
Dude, that's all that matters, though. I mean, it's one of those things, right? I mean, you see it, you live there. Why do it just because other people will see it, right?
Right. For sure. And so you got to live with that a little bit. You got to enjoy it.
You have to, man. It's like, yeah, Jill and I were complaining today. We got a bunch of stuff nailed out this weekend, and some of it was like kind of like cardio intensive and like just lots of legs, doing stuff just around the house, doing stuff up in my office. So we were saying the same thing today. Like I woke up yesterday, I'm like my glutes are sore. Like what the hell's going on? Like I got hammies that are sore. Like my legs are tired.
That's
I need to do some more squats.
And now I want this question for you guys as well. And G Square, really good timing on here. And he said, oh man, I must have missed the episode about shampoo. He said, not just because I'm bald, but he wants to know how Jill feels about it. And I saw some people in the chat that have tried it. If you guys have tried the new head hair shampoo and conditioner, sincerely, please leave some honest feedback. Nick, what has Jill's been her take with the female side of this?
She loves it. She was actually the first full, tester, aside from our son Jack. So she uses it. She loves it. And she's usually using like some really crazy high end, washes and conditioners and stuff. And she was kind of blown away. She's like, I can't believe this stuff is selling for $20. She's like, this is just every bit as good as some of like the really pricey kind of like boutique-y stuff that she uses.
Right.
Granted, there's still specialty stuff that she's going to use from time to time, but it's all our son is using. It's in our shower. She's using it. You're using it. So I mean, we've gotten some really good, just kind of rounded out feedback from people, and it's kind of been the same of that the shampoo is not so stripping that your hair feels like hay when you're done with it, right? And it's to answer that question before you even popped it up there. Yeah, it's a gentle every day, but it is still clarifying. So it's really good for your scalp. It clears out your skin. It doesn't overly strip your hair. It does impart some decent amount of residual oil. And then the conditioner, I mean, it's mostly, it has a good deal of oils in it as well, as long as other conditioning, ingredients. So it's like the two together, I think, are really nice. The conditioner also doesn't seem to leave much residue, right? It makes your hair soft and manageable, but you don't get that feeling of like something is still in there. And to that point, you can't even smell the conditioner. There's no scent in your hair once you dry off.
Yep. And yeah, G Squared not recommended for the beard in that situation, but yeah, it would be in the world of like similar to a stripping beard wash, but more designed for the scalp and the thinner head hair.
That's it.
Yep. And I'm slowly converting Sam more and more to these. As you guys know, she only uses Dr. Nick's body wash now. She has dabbled with the face wash, and these are many things that were non-passable before.
Off limits to change.
Yep. She would not even enter that world. I haven't got her on the board of trying the shampoo and conditioner yet, but I'm working on it, guys. It's a gentle process, and she's coming around. She's coming around, which I'm very excited for. Yeah, very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
and
Mike,
because that's a good point, really? Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So, if we hit Mike here, he said he got the head hair shampoo for his wife, and she loves it.
Oh, that's awesome. And I bet you it's far less expensive, ounce per ounce than what she was buying if she had something she really liked. It's interesting in that sense that we're able to, that you get the quality without the crazy formulation and big brand stuff.
Yep. And then I don't know much about this, Nick. So if you want to touch on any feedback for Because here.
So what I'll say to that is people have had issues, for example, in their beards where they have flaky skin under their beard. Maybe they have psoriasis, right? Or, um, you know, something else that's just getting them where they're either red, they're itchy, they're flaky, whatever it might be with the dreaded beard drift.
Mm.
And our beard wash has really done great things for people who have that issue. So I can't say for sure because we haven't got feedback from anybody who has dandruff issues that went from like a medicated shampoo to this. But I would have to assume that the similar effect could happen where people try all kinds of stuff to get rid of the psoriasis, dry skin, issues on their face. And between our face wash and our beard wash, a lot of those problems go away. Other areas of the body, people use our beard butter on it. And so if you look at the ingredients on the shampoo, you're going to get a lot of the same benefit, I would think, on your scalp that people get on their face from a similar ingredients list. So I'd love to see what you think, Because, and reach out if you want to be a test subject for this. We could always get you a sample to try it out. We'd love your feedback, and always you do such a great job of posting feedback and sending us photos and stuff like that. So if you'd like to give it a shot, shoot us a note.
Yeah, and I, as someone who gets questions every day about recommendations, I always try to give individual recommendations. And I get a lot of people that come to me from dermatologists and steroid creams and all these things. Literally, you guys can check the message. You can ask anybody. The number one recommendation for sensitive times where people are like, oh, I had to see this doctor, I had to do this, is Dr. Nick's, because Nick does have those sensitive skin traits that many people seek like doctor help for. This is the answer in most cases. So now, like Nick said, we can't sit up here and be like, oh, yes, it is proven better than your medicated one stuff. But you can give it a try. You can absolutely give it a try. And in G squared, man, this sounds picture perfect for your wife. She's been struggling with her shampoos lately, and I think she feels like they don't clean enough, but doesn't want to just strip her hair every time. This is something that really could be in that situation. Yep, really could be.
That could be a winner for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then Nick, here's a good one. And then we'll kind of get kicking into the tangent roulette in a second here, guys, because we could go on back and forth with you guys all day, and we love that. But we do have some cool things pinned up here. But here's a good question to address, Nick. The Real CEO said, I want to purchase the shampoo and a couple of oils, but shipping to the UK has shot up to $60. Can this be real? Can this be real?
Unfortunately, yes. Shipping has gone crazy. Now, what we're trying to do to help that out is it's been a lengthy process, but I've basically been working with DHL to try to get our own, zone coveraged shipping account with them tied into our cart system. So that way it can give you real-time DHL quotes, which is cool because it allows you to separate the cost of the shipping from the cost of the import taxes, VAT, and things like that. And so you actually get an estimate of what those fees will be if you want to prepay them ahead of time, which can sometimes be slightly less than you pay on delivery. And DHL is really the only one that we've had reliable success with. We have a specialized shipping forwarder for Australia, for example, called, I think it's Aussie Post. And basically it's partnered with USPS. They ship everything to New York and then they ship it all over in bulk to Australia. So there's some things that we've put in place to try to help people in various areas as we're going along. But what I can say is those are real-time carrier quotes. Like, we don't mark them up at all. We don't make any money on those. And you can see why we kind of had to move to quoted actual shipping rates, because we were doing flat rate to the UK. And sometimes people would order, $40 worth of stuff. They paid the flat rate 15 for shipping. And we were paying $50 for the shipping, right? And then so we were eating $35 of shipping costs, which is why we were like, okay, we love this, but we got to make this more realistic so we can scale in these parts of the world. So it's gonna get better. I can promise you that. All I can say now is that $60 sometimes doesn't go up much based on weight. So you can always try kind of adding some more stuff to your cart. I'm not trying to tell you that you got to spend more money, but sometimes for one thing, it'll be $60. And then you add 5 things to the cart and it's 62, right? So you can kind of dollar cost average sort of, I guess, across your products from a shipping standpoint. But unfortunately right now, until we get a better carrier in place, it is what it is.
Yeah, and real CO, oftentimes when that international shipping, to make it make sense, it is a good idea to put in big orders. It can kind of spread out the shipping costs. So we totally understand that. And I think we will cover this on a near future episode. Unfortunately, guys, USPS has raised their rates again. And as of yesterday, some of the main shipping rates, priority, and this is not me even exaggerating, went up 5%.
Yeah.
5. Not 1, not 2, 5%, like that. And so Nick is exploring some other options. And trust me, guys, he is working relentlessly on this stuff. Always. It is always trying to get the best deal from you. You guys know Dr. Nick's makes pennies, $0 on shipping. It is just simply what it costs. And they raised rates again. So it's not fun, but Nick's going to find the best possible solution out there. Stay tuned for some updates coming on shipping stuff.
That's it. Yeah, it's it's getting to the point too where USPS raising their rates and still not improving their level of service or reliability. I figure, if I'm considering kind of just sticking to UPS. We've already eliminated the ground advantage. We're kind of only allowing USPS priority because that's the only one in their portfolio of services that seems to even be reasonably accurate and reliable.
Right. Yep. So they're working, they're planning, guys. They'll get you all set. And you ready, Nick? Kick this off?
Oh, dude, I'm ready to roll.
Awesome. So how this is going to work, guys, is we have put together a random list, and Nick came in and was like, I got to be honest, I didn't even research any of these things. I said, I didn't either. I think they'll just be really fun to talk about and go over, and we'll get into this. Essentially, we're going to spin it. Whatever it lands on, we're going to talk about, and you guys are going to chip in the chat and just kind of see where these go. But first, we have a question from your mom. Hey, Julie. And she says, what advice for a guy who only uses your conditioner but a different brand of shampoo?
Oh, okay. I mean, really, again, if you have a shampoo that does something for you that you like, I don't think there's any problem with using our conditioner with it. Especially if it's just a good quality shampoo, paraben free, all that kind of stuff. If it was something not so great, I'd say, well, try an all natural shampoo. But I don't see any issue with using another good quality shampoo that you like. And if you like our conditioner, use that afterwards. Makes total sense.
Spot on. I've done videos on that in the past. If it's quality, and that is a key trait, I'm so glad you said that. If it's quality, there's nothing wrong with mixing and matching. You guys can mix and match oil scents and butter scents and beard wash and conditioner from different companies. There's nothing wrong with that. Variety is the spice of life. Have some fun with it. And that's a great question, Julie, because I know a lot of people probably wondered that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Love that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump in here. This is just something we randomly thought of, and we haven't seen anybody really doing this. And so we thought it'd be kind of fun. So we're looking forward to hearing your feedback on these topics. And I think all I got to do is click, and we'll see what we have. Oh, that's so cool.
Complete with sound effects, no less.
Okay. All right, Nick, you're going to lead this one off here, sir. Oh my gosh. I did listen to it real quick. I listened to a TikTok of a lady talking about her neighbors, and she goes, and the neighbors got a dang Roomba. Is that what they're called? The vacuum ones?
Yeah, the indoor, the little robot vacuums.
She was like, they got a lawn Roomba. Come see this. They got a lawn Roomba. Me and Sam were dying laughing. So, Nick, what's going on with robot mowers?
All right, so this is fun, and we'll get through a bunch of these. So I'll keep we'll keep it somewhat brief, right? But so there, as everyone knows, everyone's seen these things at Lowe's. There's like the Husqvarnas, and you got the everyone who makes lawnmowers just about at this point is making one of these kind of automated mowers, right? And so when I first looked into them, I was like, this would be an awesome idea, because I liked the idea of just like letting it run every few days and kind of just keeping your lawn the same length all the time. Like it never gets long, it never gets too short. You don't have a bunch of clippings to worry about because it's just shaving a little bit off. So as I looked into them more, I found, this was like 2 years ago, I found something that I just literally couldn't deal with. Like I was, what most of them up until recently require is that you have to bury a boundary wire around the
Oh,
perimeter of your lawn. And sure, they got some tools that help you do it, like little wheels that kind of cut into the dirt and then lay down the little cable. But the challenge with that is obviously they need to be powered. It needs to be a continuous circuit, and they break for various reasons. They have issues. Animals get into them, whatever it might be.
yeah.
And we have like a backyard that is fenced off from the front on one side, and you can go around the back of the house on the other. And then you'd have to then go across the driveway to get to the other side of the front lawn. And these mowers that are out there don't support that. Like they don't support multiple zones. They want you to have a separate mower for every different zone of your yard. Like if you have a backyard, a side yard, and a front yard, and they're not connected with anything that's getting mowed, you'd have to get 3 separate ones. And I wasn't going to do that. So the other downside of those is that what they do is they bounce between that boundary wire in random patterns. So you end up with these crazy zigzagged lines all over the place in your lawn. And my OCD brain would not let me go for that at all.
Right.
Like if I saw lines all over the place, I'd be out there like with something that didn't mow, but like just made the lines or something. I don't know. So over in the UK, this company called Motion, it's like MAMMOTION. They came out, and a couple other companies have started making these mowers that are referred to as RTK driven mowers. And these are satellite guided. So what you get is there's like a little satellite receiver that goes on like your roof or somewhere in your yard. It's like just a little, little puck looking thing about this big. And it connects to the satellites. And then it has an antenna on the bottom of it that connects to the mower. And then the mower also connects to the satellites. And what you can do with these is you get the app on your phone and you literally remote control this thing like a remote control car around the perimeter of your lawn, and you call it a zone. Yeah, look up Luba 2. The Luba 2, like what, 35? The Luba 2 3000, call it.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is you drive it around the perimeter of your lawn while you're following behind it with Bluetooth, and then you tell it to save, and that creates a zone. And since it's connected to satellites from the station and from the robot and from radio, it's accurate down to, I think, 1/4 of an inch for the boundary. So like then you go around like your flower beds called a no-go zone, and then you can make channels to transport the device from one zone to another zone. And you say, hey, if you want to go from here to there, I want you to follow this path. And you drive it over, you hit save, and now it knows how to get from one spot to the other. And it basically what it uses, exactly right. And what it uses is 2 little plastic discs on the bottom of it that literally have little 1.5-inch razor blades attached to it. And it's 8 razor blades total, covers an 11-inch width. And so since it's using razors, you can literally shave off down to 1/8 of an inch at a time of grass. So if it mows like every couple of days, you never notice the difference in the length of your grass. It always just stays the same length, and you never get any grass clippings you have to worry about.
Wow.
And it's pretty neat. It has little cameras on it. So if it tells you that it found an obstacle it wasn't expecting, it'll send you a text, and you click on it and you can see what it's looking at. And you're like, oh, yeah, go around it, or actually go back to your charging station. I'll move that. And then you can resume your task later. So it's got obstacle avoidance, really good at obstacle avoidance. It's got 3D spatial sensors. You can raise and lower the deck height. You can set it to where you want your front lawn cut at one height, your back cut as another. It's pretty freaking sweet.
Now, G Squared wants to know: is it a real cylinder?
Is it a real cylinder? No. So the if you're talking about the blades, they're like 2 flat discs that are about like, I think maybe about 5 inches or so each, and there's 2 of them kind of side by side, and they spin horizontally, and the little razor blades just kind of fling off the side of those. It's pretty sweet though. And then you can set the angle that you want it to cut. So you can tell it to do a different angle every day. You can tell it you can even upload a photo to it, and it'll carve that image into your lawn. Like if it was someone's birthday, you could write happy birthday in your lawn of uncut grass, And when they look out the window from upstairs, like they'll literally see "Happy Birthday" written in your lawn. It's ridiculous.
Man, that's
So freaking
crazy.
cool.
John says his company has one of the giant remote controlled ones. And he said it's a cool concept, but doesn't work well in areas between sun and shade. Interesting. The shadow is an obstacle.
Yeah. What's funny is this one will pick up like reflections off my white like fence posts. It'll slow down and be like, "Are you something I need to worry about?" And then it'll be like, "Oh, nope, okay," and keep going.
Oh, that would be so sick. Cut out our logos in your lawn. Do a little like
Oh,
drone
dude,
shot over the top.
I might need to do that.
That would be super sick.
Oh, that'd be fun. Oh, I'm down.
I love it. Okay. All right. And G Squared. And guys, Nick, you struck a nerve. This is his life. Other than beard care, it is lawn care for G Squared. And I've seen a picture of it. It is beautiful. It looks like a putting green. It's crazy. And he says, that's really interesting. It can cut that low with that blade setup. Wow.
Yeah, it does. It cuts really low. You can go. The one I have is adjustable between, I think, 1.6 and 2.8 inches, I believe.
Okay.
So it's pretty fractional. You can go in like 0.2 inch increments. But it's been a lot of fun. And ours, we've named Walter. And we make sure, like Wally, and we make sure to like thank him, and tell him he did a great job.
That's good.
All that kind of stuff. Because listen, the robot uprising happens. We're thinking that maybe if we're nice to Walter, that he can kind of like vouch for us and be like, nope, I'm not a slave. These people have been really nice to me. They give me baths. They tell me I do a great job,
Yep. Offered a squirrel every once in a while.
Yeah, whatever it wants, really. I mean, it's got razor blades for fingers, so I kind of want to stay on Walter's good side.
Now, how big is it? Something that you could like demonstrate with your arms, or is it bigger than that? Oh, okay. It's smaller than I thought.
Yeah, it's about this big and then about this wide.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then how often are you running it for, like, how much of a period of time?
So it does like the backyard, it'll do every other day. The front yard, it does like twice a week because it doesn't grow as fast because it's in a lot more sun. Septic's out front, so it's really sandy, kind of crappy, lots of drainage. So we kind of have it cut a little longer out front, a little shorter out back, have it do out back more frequently. And it just kind of, depending on the angle and the path you tell it to take, right? If you have it do like a perimeter pass twice, and then like an obstacle circle once, and then you have it cut in just the straight lines.
Yeah.
For the backyard, it's like 80 minutes. But then if you tell it to do a checkerboard, obviously it's like 160 minutes because you're kind of doubling the work. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, if he gets low on battery, he brings himself back to his charging station, plugs himself in, he goes back out and resumes and keeps on going right where he was.
Stop it. It brings itself back in to charge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Stop
and if
it.
yeah, and it actually, if you have it set to do like the back and the front in the same day, it'll do the back and it'll look at the plan that you set for the front yard and it'll estimate how much battery that takes. And if he thinks he needs to recharge before he goes and does it, he'll top himself off with the battery, then go do the next task.
Stop that.
It's so cool.
No, oh my gosh. Wow.
It's really neat.
John, that's so funny. He said, is it weird I do the same thing with Alexa? Sam yells at me because of how polite I am to like Alexa and then, the one that's on your watch and phone. I don't want to say out loud to activate everybody's right now. I say thank you. I always say please. To be honest, it's not even conscious. That's just how I communicate. But she always is like, you don't have to say please to the AI. And I'm like, but what if? So
there was a South Park about that where like everyone got mad that like the digital assistants were taking people's jobs, so like they had real people like that wanted to take that job like in people's house, and he's like, hey Randall.
Right. There's a skit in there. Awesome, man. All right, what a way to start.
Hey Daryl, that's what it was.
Daryl. Hey Daryl. Yeah. What a way to start. Yeah, be polite to AI, guys. I don't think that you'll regret that. That's a good call. It's coming, so let's embrace it. All right, robot mowers. Let's get it. All silence for the sound here. Ooh. Okay, Nick. I've got no understanding here. Please.
All right. So this is like, I think this is like kind of like it's like a, I don't know. It's like a pet peeve. It's a gripe. I don't know what you want to call it. So there's lots of things out there that people are using, lots of online stuff, right, to make like graphics. And what I take exception to is, right, like businesses, or I don't know, just about like kind of anything that are taking, JPEG images, or they're taking other types of like, just image files, right? And using them for graphics, and they don't scale, like a small phone screen versus like a big computer screen versus a TV. And you get the little edges. So here, what's the difference? What am I even talking about? So there's two types of graphics in the world, right? A lot of you probably know this. A lot of probably, maybe some of you don't. So there's roster based graphics, which is an image file, right? You think of like a JPEG, a GIF, a PNG, whatever they might be. And this is a perfect example. So anything that saves as one of those image files is not scalable, right? It saves as a certain size, this many pixels wide, this many pixels high. And when you then take that and resize it, you get the blurry edges. It looks a little fuzzy, and it just really takes down the quality, Now, with vector, it is not an image until you open it. It's a data file. And what it does is it's telling you, here's how much distance is between this point and this point, or from a percentage standpoint. So if you have something that starts off the size of a quarter, based on the ratios of distances between 2 points that make up that graphic, like in that V, right? It's a percentage of the total shape that makes up the top line versus the side line, right? And when you take that and then you scale it, it redoes the math and it redisplays it for you. And it makes it absolutely sharp and perfect every single time. So like if you notice, like for example, all of the graphics that we use for our label art, our stickers, our clothes, our hats, everything else. Being as I'm kind of an Adobe nerd, and I use Illustrator quite a bit. Illustrator is a vector application. So if you look at Adobe's portfolio, Photoshop, right? That's a roster-based application. It's great for photos. It's great for things that you need to do like that. You can't do when you look at one of those pictures of like a portrait, and it looks like kind of like simple 2D vectored, clean cut, kind of like 2D graphics sort of looking, those are vector images. You can't really do a photograph, right? As a vector. There's too much nuance. You need pixels, like you need the gradients and the depths and everything else that you get from that. But Photoshop, roster based. Illustrator, vector based. And the two do not mix. Like you can vectorize things that are an image, or vectorize a font, right? Here's a perfect example. If I'm an illustrator and I make a label for one of our products, and I type some text for like maybe the directions, right? Our print shop that deals with only commercial business, they will not take an Illustrator file that has fonts in it. Before I send them a label, I have to maintain 2 versions of all of our label, one of them with editable text, and then one of them that's called vector outlined. So it actually outlines the fonts on the label, and it gets rid of the font data. So that way people can open that vector file, and they don't need to have that font loaded on their computer. Like, when you try to open something that's got like some font in it that you don't have on your computer, it's like, could not find open type font, whatever. Would you like to download it? Print shops won't deal with that. So like everything needs to be vectored all the way down to the fonts. And once you vector it, you can't edit that font anymore. So you have to maintain an editable text version and then the rendered vectored based output of that. So, and I guess my point of this topic was, I think right now, if you're doing graphics or you're doing anything that's going to be displayed on multiple size screens, it's going to be used for any type of print work, anything like that, stop it with the blurry labels. Stop it with the blurry banners and logos. Like, it's not super duper complicated. And there's applications out there that will do it for you for free. Like GIMP would work for that. Like there's a bunch of applications that are totally free. They'll let you vector things for free. And you can save those outputs. And it's going to level up like any project you're working on. But as of now, literally all of our graphics, like if someone wants an image file of one of our graphics, I open a vector file, I pick the size that they want for whatever we're doing, and I export it as a PNG in that size, and then it's perfectly crisp and just right. So it's like, yeah, raster equals pixels, right? And vectors equal a math equation technically that generates lines and fills.
That's amazing. I've learned about this from you, but I also learned about it from Because. The first person to ever vector my logo was Because, actually. And I have a general understanding of if everything's compact, right? Let's say we had low quality cameras. This setup would be better for us because all of the image gets pushed down smaller. So you don't notice that it's a lower quality camera as much. Then you make it half as big or twice as big. Now it starts to show, and then you go full screen, and then it really shows. That's kind of the same thing here. If you push it all down smaller, it looks like it's all compact and tight, but then when you pull it out, I didn't know about the math and the distance. That's really interesting.
It's super neat. And that's what creates the quality of the vector too, is the
Yeah.
number of points you have.
Interesting. Yeah.
So if you have a corner on something that you vectored and it's kind of like shaped like this, and it kind of has like a little bit of a sharp angle to it, you just add a point, add a point, add a point, add a point, and now all of a sudden that line smooths out because it's going to be connecting to more points that are around in an arc, as opposed to here, here, and here would be a triangle. Here with 10 points from here to here would make an arc.
Now,
So it's pretty neat.
If anybody out there is like, what? It's above my pay grade as well, guys. That's cool.
Just a little digital design. You did art before the stream, and I figured now we can, we got a chance to talk about some art.
Yeah. I was painting. Yep. All right.
Painting.
Thanks, Nick. Way to throw me off there. And okay, so GIMP is the actual name of it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's like GIMP it's an open source image app basically that supports both vectors and rosters. You can use there's plugins that can kind of accommodate for both. It was, for the longest time, GIMP was like the only image app you could use on like a Linux computer.
It
but
looks
now
like a
it's
Linux thing.
yeah, it's available cross-platform now, Mac, Windows, Linux, everything. And it's graphics and image manipulation program.
Wow. Okay.
GIMP.
Literally learning something. I love it.
I love it.
Let's hit our next one. Oh, run it. They really wanted us to talk about that, apparently.
Nope, not again. Apparently, it thinks I forgot something.
Okay. I want to hear your story, and then anybody in the chat, the worst storms you've been in, because mine have all been in the last 6 months. The literal worst storms of my life. One was a tornado in Grand Blanc, Michigan that jumped our house, and I'm not saying that in an exaggerated way. It hit
literally
100 yards from us on one side, 100 yards on the other side, complete devastation. I'm talking about factories completely leveled, completely gone.
Flat.
Boom. And then on Monday, we had the aftermath on the Tuesday live stream that you guys heard about last week, and that was pretty crazy. And now as things settle, it's like they're showing more and more and more pictures. Those two were easily the worst 2 storms I've ever been in my entire life. And I just need to hear other stories to be able to like understand. So please, guys, girls in the chat, drop your storm stories, whether it's a date, a quick explanation. Nick, does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, there's been a few. Like, I've been through a couple of tornadoes in Missouri. I've been through a couple of hurricanes in Florida. I've been through a couple of earthquakes in California. But I think probably the one that like stands out the most as just being like eerie and weird and just kind of something I hadn't experienced before is I was down in Austin, Texas. God, probably like 2016-ish, maybe. And there was a tornado that rolled through Austin. And I didn't know it was coming. We were working literally all day in a data center for a bank. And I brought down 2 of my employees with me at the time. And I rented us all a big, kind of really cool, modern Airbnb house. And like right behind, we've told the story, is right behind the main strip there in Austin. And so we're in the house and it's a smart house. So it's got like this digital smart panel, everything's automated. And all of a sudden we heard like this buzzing noise coming from a part of the house. And it was loud. I'm like, what the hell is that? So we went searching. And sure enough, in the master bedroom next to the closet, there's like this panel and it had tornado warning on it was going off. And it had like 4 levels. It had like tornado watch, tornado warning. And then it was imminent impact was the top little level. And that's the one that was like flashing.
Whoa.
And so, of course, it's a concrete house. So I was pretty confident that we'd be okay. And in traditional Nick fashion, instead of going and finding a place that was as far away from windows and lower level as possible, like you're supposed to do, I ran upstairs to the roof deck on the 2nd story of the house. And I went outside. I'm like, I got to see this thing. And so, we're sitting there, me sitting there, everyone else was inside calling me crazy. And I'm on the roof deck of this 2-story house. And I see like these clouds that are like forming up like that. And they're kind of like floating towards me like this, and there's wind blowing like crazy. And then I look the other way and I notice that there's clouds also coming this way. So I'm like, wait a minute, like those clouds swirling coming this way, those clouds also coming this way. And then all of a sudden there was no wind. And I heard the sound that people talk about that sound like scissors slicing. It's like a metallic scissors cutting noise.
I've had that, and
And
I've
the
had
freight train noise you
the
heard.
locomotive sound.
Yeah, you had that on that video you sent me. That was nuts. I didn't get that.
My
I got
doorbell
the scissors
caught
slicing. And then all of a sudden, all the trees around the house, they all blew up. Like all the branches and leaves, they went up. And I was like, oh. So like I realized I was kind of in the middle of this thing that was like starting to reform after it went over a body of water or something.
Whoa.
So at that point, ran inside, heard all kinds of crap. Power went out. Electricity was flashing outside. And we went out in the morning with the light, and the electric pole in front of our house was down. And there, one street over was like 6 cars laying on their roofs, like got tossed and flipped over. So like, I think I was right about where that thing like reformed and then hit back on the ground with a funnel.
Jeez.
But dude, seeing clouds coming at you really fast one way and then looking behind you and seeing them come the other way, and then the wind just like stopping and branches blowing up, that's like the eeriest thing I've ever been in.
That's those, we call them storm leaves, but obviously on a much lesser scale, but that upward push is scary. And
dude,
man, a lot of you guys have been through some big ones. This is my new friend joined Command's Corner last night. We got him over here. He said he's loving the content. And interesting, I never thought about the military relief when they come in to help out and just the devastation they probably see. And he had 2 different hurricanes that in the military he was able to go and have relief for. I bet that was just crazy to see.
Dude, talk about like a time in your life where probably you've never had a larger group of people really happy to see you whenever they saw you.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's got to feel really cool.
Wow. Amber, the freight train noise it's unexplainable until you hear it. And you're like, when I'd heard that before, like people talking about it, and I'm like, I'm sure there's like a rumble. No, it sounds like a train. Like it sounds like a train.
Dude, that video you sent me from the Ring camera.
Yep.
Like I thought the same thing. I'm thinking like, oh, okay, so it must be loud and it's like rumbly and that's what you hear on train tracks. But you literally hear the.
It's
like it sounds like wheels hitting the tracks.
Yep. And I've heard the about the scissor sound as well.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Interesting. And Jill says the blizzard of 05, 30 inches of snow. Ooh.
Dear God.
Yep. That'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Wow. Man, now you weren't in that area in 05, were you, Nick? East Coast?
No. I just moved away after my first stint here a few years before that. And I didn't come back until 2011.
Oh, Chris, same thing. We had a tornado a couple months ago, and I'm not exaggerating here. We were going around cleaning up debris in our yard and stuff, and then we kept seeing this orange, like, gush, this orange, like, slime that was all over, like, our sidewalk, that was all over our play set. a factory that I told you guys about got completely destroyed on the other side of town. Like, we had houses destroyed by us, but the factory is on the other side of town. I'm talking 4 or 5 miles. I know it's not the craziest amount, but we got insulation from that factory all over our neighborhood, 4 or 5 miles away. It rained insulation goo. It was
Dude, that's
crazy.
Why was it goo?
It
Because
was
the
wet.
fiberglass had just got wet, like in
Yeah.
the atmosphere.
I think so. But
Dude.
I genuinely didn't know what it was. And then it like dawned on us. And we're like, oh my gosh. And it was insulation.
Wow.
People started posting on the local Facebook group, which actually it's full of drama and silly things like everybody's, but it once in a while has a little bit of knowledge. And you're like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Crazy, man.
Can we get a goodness for Nick's fat braid? Yeah, we talked about it.
Can we get a close up of the
All right,
fat braid?
Here we
Big
go,
got
Nick.
braids.
Look at that thing.
Let's see here. Oh, here we are. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's that first inward motion that's pretty special.
That one, that's
Yeah.
tricky.
Yeah, I
So
know.
what I do now is I use a comb and I kind of come down from the side of my mustache. I just slide it down like this and I pull the hair, throw that over one shoulder, and I take the other, throw that over the other shoulder, and then I can comb each piece individually, put them back where they go, and then I grab the middle, and you got to do the middle and swoop aside over it to be able to not get your middle pulled over to the right as part of the braid. That's not a great look for me anyway. So like, kind of had to figure that out. Jill was a huge help because she had braided hair before and I had not.
That's what I do for Violet's hair. I put 2 over her shoulders, and then I have 1 down the middle so I can get those all together, and then I use it. Yep.
That's it.
Awesome. That was a fun one, guys. Thank you for making me feel okay. Here we go. Let's talk about guitar. Oh, is this Jack stuff?
Dude, this is, well, it's mine, but Jack is using it downstairs right now, taking guitar lessons, which is pretty cool.
Cool. What's going on?
Dude, okay. Guitar toys. I've spent like tens of thousands of dollars over my lifetime on guitars and guitar stuff. I've bought multi-$1,000 amps, big cabinets. I have full stacks with 100-watt tube heads at my house. Concert quality volume that you could probably hear across from my neighborhood if I turned it past like 4. That said, I have never bought something that I've had as much fun with for guitar as this thing I just bought for $100. It's like literally, I don't think I've ever had this much fun from $100 actually, like in a really, really long time. It's called the iRig HD1X. So like, I think it's the HDX. What is it? iRig HD1X. One is spelled out O-N. Oh, it's just the iRig HDX. Sorry. So the iRig HDX. This thing is so cool. It works with a partner application or app on your phone. And the one that I use is Amplitude Tonex. So what you do with this is you plug your guitar into the port there on the left, and then on the top of the unit, that next photo is a couple more over there. There you go. Then you plug the USB into your phone, and then you plug headphones or speakers or whatever else you want into the headphone jack. And what it allows you to do is you can search the ToneX library of user and AI created tone banks. So you can select like an EVH 5150, $5,000 amp or a Warhead, whatever you want. You can set up like $10,000 worth of stuff between like a head, a cabinet, some effects pedals, a noise gate, some chorus, some reverb. And it's you can then play through that setup and hear it in real time, 0 latency in your headphones. So you literally pick, and then what's really cool is there's people out there that have modeled it after different bands or guitar players' signature tones. So you can search for an artist or a band, and you can find user created tone profiles that like almost identically match it. Like you want to play Tool from late 90s, boom, it's there. Whoa. You want to play Deftones, it's there. You want to play Slayer, DSI, whatever you want. You go and select it, find someone who's made it, pop it on, and then boom, within seconds, you're playing through what would cost like $5,000 to $10,000 worth of equipment in seconds, all in this box. And does it sound 100% just like that setup does? No. But did you pay $10,000 for it to hear it? No. And it's like 95% as cool when you're playing in headphones with it. And the neatest part, I think, is that since it hooks up to your phone, it supports background running. So if you downsize, multitask it, it'll keep working in the background. Open Spotify, pick a song that you're trying to learn, play it, and then you can literally play the guitar alongside Spotify with the same leveled output. So you can practice in real time along with any song in the world on Spotify quietly in your headphones without being embarrassed about how bad you still suck at that song that you're learning.
And can you record to your phone?
Yes. So you
Oh.
can record to your phone. You can also use it with GarageBand, Amplitude, or any other. You can use it with Pro Tools. You can use it with any other recording software that you might have, and it works as a DI, like a digital input.
Wow, man. And also, you guys are amazing. My guy Jay Summers says two major products. Everyone's saying oil and wash, and then butter. He said, I'm looking for a great wash and a great peppermint oil. And dude, you found the right spot. If you need anything else with this company, man, reach out. We got you covered.
Heck
You
yeah.
cannot go wrong. And just look at the chat there, dude. Awesome. Nick, that's insane. How'd you find it, if you don't mind me asking?
I had heard about Tonex, honestly, before I heard about this, and I was looking for something that I could use to play in headphones and just play along with music with some level of effects. I thought I was going to have to use, because I mean, you look back just as recently as 20 years. Well, recently, dear God, I'm old. You look back like 20 years, 2004. Like this took like a $5,000 computer, another bunch of equipment to bring the audio in through the guitar and then out to an amp or whatever else. And you still didn't have zero latency real-time monitoring. You could hear yourself play, but it was no effects. And then when you played back what you recorded, it had the effects. So I was just kind of looking for something like that. And I was curious what the world had produced since I was last looking. And I found this and I could not be happier.
That's like our audio boards right now. The
Yeah.
school I used to teach at has like a $20,000 setup to do everything the Roadcaster does.
Yep, just as good, if not better.
Couple $100 better. I mean, it is better. It's more functional. I mean, couple $100, that seems like the same progression that you have here.
It is, dude. And it's all due to the power of the phones we have now. Like
Yeah.
the phones we have in our pocket are more powerful than the computers I had in my recording studio in 2004.
Yep.
Like leaps and bounds more powerful, more processor, more memory, everything.
All right, I probably shouldn't do this, guys, but we're gonna do
one
another
more.
one. Get this last one in here because this is just too fun, and we're gonna come back to this. This is going to need to be a regular occurrence.
Oh yeah, once
This
a
is
quarter,
amazing.
I'm thinking.
All right, come on, baby. One more we haven't covered yet. What you got? Ooh, okay. Moderation versus abstinence. Literally anything in life. All right, what are your thoughts on this, Nick?
Okay, so I'm gonna fast track this one because we have a minute, but people can let us know if we need to do a stream about this. I believe that life in general is full of volume knobs, not on and off switches in my mind. I think when you look at something in life that maybe you shouldn't do, or maybe something that you shouldn't do a lot, or maybe you're a person who has the proclivity to do something too much. And then so people say, well, you got to stop that. You can't do it at all. What happens with that on and off switch when you turn it off? What happens when you accidentally flip it back on one day?
Rush.
You're gonna go right back to on, right? Now, what if instead of telling yourself that you can't do that at all, what if you said that this is something that you need to control, and you need to take yourself down to a 1 or a 2, right? That means you now have control, right? You're controlling the level in which you actively decide how much you're going to focus on, participate, or do something. And just like this is weird. When I used to play golf, this is kind of what taught me this, is that when you're playing golf, any golf instructor, this is when I was a kid, they'll tell you that it's much easier to control a curve than it is to produce a consistently straight line. So if you're trying to hit a ball, it's better if you could kind of put a little spin and control it. Look at bowlers. They curve their ball and they hit where they want to hit. They don't try to go exactly down the line because that's hard to control. And if it doesn't go just straight, you lose complete ability of aim. So just like it's easier to control a curve with physical things than it is a straight line, I also think it's more productive, both mentally and outcome wise, to control and dictate the level of a knob as opposed to flipping on and off a switch and being from 0 or 10 are your only settings. Life is full of things that should be at a 4. Life's full of other things that should maybe be a 0 or a 1, and other things that should be turned up, right? But I think just with anything, whether it's whatever it might be, right?
Beard care,
Food, beard care, smoking, alcohol, speeding, driving too fast, whatever it might be, right? There's things that people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Well, it's like, well, hey, hold on a minute. Life is full of gray area here.
Yeah.
Let's try to be real and use our brains for what they're good at, which is dictating moderation and having control.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. This one's got no pun intended. There's more meat on the bone here,
dude. And that's dead on. Like, people are like, well, I can't eat anything with that. You're like, well, what happens when you do and you haven't at all for 4 months? You're going to way overdo it. And if you're like, okay, well, I can tolerate this much of that and I'll give it to myself when I think it's appropriate, then you're like, okay, well, it's a little reward. And that gives you a sense of accomplishment. it doses you with serotonin. It's good. Like, there's things that you need to do with that. And I think I know too many people who have had things in life that they try to turn off. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not just possible. And when it comes back, guess what? It doesn't come back at a 1 or a 2. It comes back at a 10.
Yep. Or 12 in some of your friends'
or a 12.
cases. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Man. Okay. Yes. I'm going to save this list, especially that one and the ones we haven't covered, because this will come back again. And that topic why? Of course, that one pops on the last one. That topic right there could be an entire stream.
It could.
And we could do it from the business side, the beard care side, the personal side. It really is all encompassing.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it is. And it's like, yeah, I think that's clear, given our audience and given my experiences in various areas in life, I think this would be something that's beneficial for everyone to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And Jill posted the thing, and we would have forgotten it on this damn stream.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what's live on the site right now, everybody?
I thought Jill was just talking about moderation because she loves Christmas so much she doesn't take down Christmas tree. Oh, that wasn't it? Oh, what's live?
It's Nick? Christmas in July.
Oh, baby.
It's July. It's Christmas in July. Say hello, everybody, to Yule Tree and Peppermint Rosemary Beard Oil, and Yule Tree in beard wash, beard conditioner, and body wash. All live on the site right now. They are back for a limited time. We will sell till we're out. And here it is.
Oh my goodness, you guys. You can pop over anywhere you would like, hit that scent, and you can see that Yule Tree is add to cart. This is not a test. This is not a test. It is live. It is real.
I mean, peppermint bark. Did I say peppermint rosemary? Sorry. Peppermint bark in oil. Thanks, Jill.
So final thing here, because I know there was concern over peppermint bark. We're good. We got it. All the ingredients are ready.
Peppermint bark is available in an oil. It is cost prohibitive to do it in shower products.
Yep.
Also, availability is a little too limited to do that big of a batch. So we're limiting it to the oils, but the Yule Tree is available across all of the body wash, beard conditioner, and oil.
Beautiful. And we will talk a lot about this next week, guys. So if you're left hanging and you want more info, reach out to the company. The email's on the website. Instagram is always available, or just tune in next week and we'll go over all things Christmas in July related, which is just fun. You need a little Christmas in July sometimes.
Hell yeah. It just went live this morning. I meant to mention that at the beginning of the stream, guys. Sorry about that. Thanks, Jill.
So much fun.
This is why she maintains the part of my brain that I don't have sometimes.
There we go. There we go. I love it. All right, you guys, thank you for this one. Absolute highlight of my day. We're going to come back to this idea. That was way too much fun. And thank you guys for all the perspective and knowledge you guys drop as well. Nick, final words for our friends.
Man, if any of this popped in and it was like, we need more than 10 minutes on that, please let us know. Yeah. Any ideas also for fun topics coming up on streams, let us know. If we need to do random topic generator more for dead air once a stream, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we don't do it 4 times a year. Maybe we just keep the list filled, keep it updated, and once a stream, give it a spin. I don't know. So let us know what you think. Meanwhile, have a good, healthy, and safe 4th of July. And we will see all of you next week on the 9th, 1 o'clock. See you then. Stay amazing.
Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your